Hi, I'm Elise Hatton and this is Liam Fahey, and we are so excited that you're joining us today for HubLive. So we're coming live from our new studio at the Smart Hub, we will be doing these Facebook Lives every Thursday at 1 o'clock. Now I'm exceptionally excited about today's session because we're going to talk about one of the most fundamentally important things in business, and that is marketing and how you can use technology to improve your marketing. Now, the first question obviously is, what is the point of marketing? Like, what is marketing and why should we even do marketing? Now, I know that most businesses, or not even most, every single business needs customers. In fact, every business has a problem, and the problem is how can they get more customers? And I think marketing is really central to answering that question, right? So, hey Liam, how are you?
I'm going good, thank you.
Excellent. So you're in the business of marketing. Marketing is your business, that's social. So tell us, what in your view is the definition of marketing? Or how would you explain what marketing is?
In simple terms, I'd explain marketing as separating customers from their money.
Nice, yeah.
But it's very much, it's the full package to actually get to the sales. It's explain that you have a product and get a customer to buy that product from you.
Okay.
Or that service.
Okay, so there's a whole world full of people, and here's your business, and some of this world full of people, some of these people need or want what you have. And marketing is the process of getting their attention and getting them to actually engage with you and purchase something from you.
Yes, and from you and not your competition.
Yes.
So everyone has a car, the car needs to be serviced,
Yep.
but who do you choose?
So marketing is the process of getting the right people's attention and getting those right people, i.e. people who need your services or products, to actually engage with your business and not your competition.
Correct, yes. That's how I see it.
Okay, I get it. So why do you think marketing is so important? And do you, in your experience, do most business owners really see the importance of marketing?
Well, every business out there knows it needs to do marketing. And I've often gone to a business where they haven't done any marketing for a while and they're stagnant. They're not seeing any sort of movement with the business. It's just the same customers that they have an existing relationship with. Without that marketing, you don't get to expand, you don't evolve your business, you don't get new customers through the door.
Okay, so if you're in a business and your business is not growing, that problem is fixed by re-engaging good quality marketing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I only ever see three issues with businesses.
Yeah.
The people in the business,
Yes.
cash flow for the business,
Yes.
or the marketing for the business.
Yes. And bar the people in the business, marketing will fix some of those other issues, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you get more customers, your cash flow improves, and then if you manage your cash flow properly, you should be okay.
And you've got more cash in, you can get better staff.
Yes, good. But hey, really just kind of side topic. I think marketing is essential in recruiting staff too, because how you write your marketing to get your potential staff's attention will get you the quality of people that you need, right?
Yeah,
It's part of the process.
We definitely take different approaches to actually getting staff. So recently we ran a campaign trying to attract a very specialised mechanic to the region. And once we actually looked through the information, there's like less than 1,000 of these mechanics in Australia.
Right.
So we weren't trying to do a local campaign, we're trying to do a national campaign.
Yeah.
And rather than say, come work for us, good award rate, all the rest, we went meters to the best barramundi fishing in the region. An hour to the beach, to the islands,
Yeah.
come and explore the lifestyle of Rockhampton. So we attracted the mechanic to the region based on the lifestyle change rather than an actual position.
Okay, so I think you've touched on something that's exceptionally important. And that is that you want to find the right person, right, your target market, and in that example, a specific kind of mechanic. And then you want to sell them on the result that they want, which is not necessarily the feature or the advantage, but the benefit behind getting that, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's just recap and then we'll continue our conversation. So number one, marketing, in the words of Liam Fahey, is getting your customer to separate with their money, i.e. engaging with you, doing a transaction. Secondly, the reason why we have to do marketing is to ensure that the people who need your products and services are engaging with your business. And in doing that, it will fix some of the issues that businesses face, like lack of growth or cash flow, or even, as the example we just discussed, attracting better staff or improving or growing your team. right?
Correct.
Fabulous. Okay, so how do we go about doing this thing called marketing? If we want to grow our business, get more customers, make more money, save time, grow our team, how do we do marketing?
First, you need to find out who your audience is. Who do you actually want to target?
So when you say the word audience, what does that mean?
You're trying to sell four-wheel drive accessories. You're not going to advertise at the local doctors.
Yes.
You're going to advertise in four-wheel drive magazines, four-wheel drive television shows, on a four-wheel drive Facebook channel. You want to be targeting your audience where they are. Okay,
so audience specifically means a person who is interested to purchase the thing that you are selling.
Correct. You're not going to be selling four-wheel drive accessories to a 99-year-old grandma.
Hey, you never know, but it's unlikely. Yes, okay.
Yes. So it's almost stereotyping your audience.
Got it. So if you start working with a new client, how do you go about doing that? Can you tell us a little bit give us an insight into that process, or tell us a story about how that worked for some of your previous clients?
So sometimes I'll actually just sit in the business and watch. I'll see who comes in and start talking to them and find out about them, their interests, their likes. Other times I'll go to my customer and say, who is your audience? Who actually comes through the door? Who buys your products? Give us a list of the 5 products that you sell the most of, the 5 products you sell the least of, and tell me who actually buys those products.
Okay, right, and so once people know who, have you ever found a business where people actually didn't know who their audience was?
More often than not.
So what do you do then?
Observe, learn, ask questions.
So if there are business owners on this Facebook Live who don't know specifically how to target their audience or who the audience should be for their product, is there any questions or process that they can go through? If you say observe, ask questions, can you give us an example of what that would look like?
So start with the basics. Are they male? Are they female?
Yeah.
Begin there. So start working out where you see more male customers come through the door, more female customers.
Okay.
Then break them down to age brackets.
Yeah.
Once you break them down to age brackets, expand on it. Do they have families? Are they coming in with their kids? Are they single blokes coming in talking about partying on the weekend? Start to learn or observe your customer and what they're actually talking about.
Ah, okay, got it. So what you described there is very much the demographics of target market. So the marketing talk would be demographics, but then there's also the other side, which is the psychographics, which is more of their interest, or their behavior, their buying behavior, the psychology behind them. So that was usually quite hidden, in times gone by, right? Because it wasn't obvious. Demographics might have been obvious, but the psychographics might not have been. And how is technology making that more transparent?
Well, with a system like Facebook, you can jump online, start a campaign, and pull out the data for different interests. So you can put people in Rockhampton and their interest in four-wheel driving. It'll show you how many people like pages related to four-wheel driving.
The technology
or
is
fishing
incredible.
or whatever.
Yeah. That's
so hopefully most businesses have a customer management system which gives you some of the demographics to begin with, and then you can see what they've been purchasing. So if you have a petrol station and you're selling all the fishing gear, you can see who's actually buying that fishing gear. If you have the loyalty card, they're scanning the products. That's why the big companies have the loyalty cards, because they want to see what you're buying, so they can better target that towards those audiences.
Okay, excellent. So number 1 step is define who your audience is. Very good. So what would you do next in building a marketing campaign?
So you've got to start thinking about imagery that you're going to relate to that.
Yeah.
So if you're selling caravans and camper vans and pop-up trailers, think about who's the audience that's going to buy it. So there's no point putting a picture of me next to a caravan. I'm not in the demographic that's going to be buying a caravan yet. But put me next to a pop-up trailer. You've got to think about what your imagery is going to look like. Are you going to do words only? Are you going to do video? Are you going to do photos? And where are you going to put that content? If you're going to be putting on Instagram, you're going to be taking different style shots than if you're going to be photographing for Facebook or for a billboard.
Okay, so let's just pause there for a moment. So once you know who your audience is, then you're really going to go to technology and go, right, so traditionally we could have gone to the newspaper and billboards and radio, because we would go, right, so here's my audience, and they typically listen to the radio in the morning on their way to work, for example. But now with technology, the channels that we can use have really expanded, right? And we can talk a little bit about traditional media channels in a moment, but just because we're really focusing on technology today, what technology channels or platforms are there to do marketing?
So the main one is Facebook.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to use once you start to have play around with it.
Yeah.
Then you got Instagram, you
Yeah.
got Snapchat. Snapchat's one that most people aren't playing with yet, but it's got a lot of potential in the future.
Right.
You got LinkedIn, you got YouTube.
Yeah.
You can do like Google AdWords. You can put videos at the start of YouTube. You can even advertise on Tinder. Swipe right for shoppies, or left, or however Tinder works.
Do you reckon that's a good place to advertise if you're selling anything for Valentine's Day?
Maybe.
Maybe
Depends
not.
on your audience.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so really the social media platforms are ideal in terms of technology, plus then Google AdWords, right? But that's a little bit different again. So let's just focus on the social platforms. So in our region, in Rockhampton, what do you think is the most popular social platform?
Definitely Facebook.
Yeah, we are definitely on Facebook as a community. Yeah. And do you find that there's different age groups relate to the different platforms in different ways?
Yeah, so tend to find 25 plus is the Facebook market, all the way up.
Right.
Under 25 is your Instagram-based market, and under 18 is Snapchat.
Okay.
The main reason being is that kids don't want to be on the same platform as mum.
Yes, that's, fair enough, I suppose. Okay, so I'm a business owner and I've identified my audience or my target market. What should I do now? So I know that I'm in Rockhampton, so Facebook is where I need to be. So what if I don't have a Facebook account or I've never used Facebook before? What should I do?
Set one up. It's very simple to actually create a Facebook
So
account.
how do you do that anyway?
So log on to Facebook, sign first.
So you just go to Google and Google Facebook and click on the link?
Google Facebook, click on the link, go into it, and you first got to create your personal Facebook account, which is just your name, your date of birth, your sex, put that in, click on continue.
And is that safe to do? Do you think Facebook's doing all not good things with all that information, or you think that's safe to do?
Facebook is a data collector. That's their industry. They're in there to collect the data.
Mm-hmm.
They're providing the service of having a platform where you can connect with your community. It's the exchange of that. Personally, I don't really care if Facebook knows that I'm 28 years old, male, and live in Rockhampton.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But if you do have concerns, create a fake account.
Yeah. So, but number one thing, you have to set up a personal account.
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you do next to get a business account?
So once you're onto the page, click on the right-hand side. There's a downwards facing arrow.
Yes.
Click on that, and you go create a page.
Okay.
And that's how you can create a business account.
Oh, excellent. And then what do you do? Upload a photo at the top, a banner. What kind of photos and imagery do you think we should be using?
Well, when you get in there, we'll ask for information on your business. You put that in, and then it's asked you to put a profile picture. I tend to find either a logo shot is really good as the profile picture, or a picture of yourself, because you're the person selling the product.
Okay.
Then you go into cover photo. Cover photo, if you've got a physical place of business, a shot of the front of your building with your team out the front.
Ah, okay.
With social media, you've got to start with the idea that it is social. People don't go on there just to see a picture of a product, they go on there to see people. So we work with a butcher here locally in town, and we used to just put up product shots. And that went well, they'd sell a lot of product doing it. But as soon as we took the same picture of the product and put the person selling it with it, and I call it creating a cult personality around that staff member, their sales took off.
Oh, really? So people want to see the person behind the product. They want to relate to the person in the business, not just see the piece of cake or not just see the butcher, the piece of meat or whatever it is.
You don't go to company to get your car serviced. You go to mechanic to get your car serviced.
Oh, so it's a personal thing.
You say to your friend, who do I should take my car to get serviced? He doesn't say take it to this business. He says take it to this person at this business.
Okay.
You've got to keep it personal.
Got to keep it personal. Okay, so we're focusing on Facebook at the moment, but really some of these principles apply to any of the platforms, right? Whether you're on Instagram, Snapchat might be, like the principle's still the same. Make it personal.
Yes.
Okay,
the more you have people in it, the better off you'll be.
Cool. So then to do the marketing, which the point of marketing is to engage more customers. So to do that, you need to get their attention.
Yes.
Right. And to get their attention, you need to get onto their newsfeed, of course. So you have two ways in which you can do that. You can do that organically by just posting every day, and then you can do that by paying Facebook a small amount of money to ensure that your post is seen by your audience, right? So talk to me about doing that organically first. Tell me what the word organic means and what kind of techniques or strategies do you suggest people do to actually just post things, and how often should they post, when should they post, what should they post, just on their Facebook page, which is free?
So my field of specialty is organic marketing. It's what I'm very passionate about, and I've seen a lot of success with businesses in this region. So what you want to do is you want to showcase your business as much as possible, focusing on your branding and your capability. And that will lead to your call to actions, your actual sales. So we normally start with showcasing the staff in the business, but we don't want to put up a picture of staff, in a row. So we'll put up a picture of staff member this week, and then we'll do another staff member next week.
So if you're building your organic thing, what to post every day, once a week you post about someone in your team.
Yes, staff member.
Yeah, and should the photos look good, or does any kind of photo just like, is a photo taken on an iPhone or smartphone good enough?
It can be good enough, yes.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have like your thumb in it, or it's blinding white light. You try and think about the background and how it sort of looks in the image.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be photographing it next to an industrial bin or anything. You want to be photographing next to a product that a customer might be looking to buy as well. And you want to tell a story about the person. You just don't want to say, hey, this is Liam, he's the director of the company. You want to tell a little bit of story about Liam. Right. So you want to say, he's been in business for many years. Previously he was a refrigeration mechanic. He left the trade, very passionate about this work. When he's not working, he likes to go spearfishing out on his mate's boat. Tell a little bit of a story, keeping a few business items, but add a personal line at the end to cement you as actually being human.
Okay, so I like that. So there's a bit of a formula there, right? This is blah blah, their name. This is your history, this is what you're now doing in the business, and this is what you love outside of the business.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Okay, so you do that once a week. What other organic posts can you do?
So you showcase your products or your services.
Yeah.
So we had an incident where we had a mechanic,
yeah.
and he was only ever working on family cars, but he wanted to work on four-wheel drives. So I said, well, get your four-wheel drive up on the hoist and let's take a photo of it.
Yeah.
Which is what we did, and we posted, working on four-wheel drive. I can't remember what brand four-wheel drive it was, but we posted the brand. Then we started seeing those vehicles come in because people were related to it, because it's like, I own that vehicle, he works on that vehicle.
Oh, okay. So that picture paints 1,000 words. That's exactly, that's right. Did I say that right? That's exactly how it is, right? So the picture of the products or services that you want people to buy from you, and then a caption just describing what you're doing in the moment. Yes. Cool. And would you suggest posting every single day?
Yes, post every single day. The more often that you post, the more you reach your audience. But don't post, every morning or every afternoon. Facebook has an option called Publishing Tools.
Yeah.
In that setting, which is at the top of the page, if you have a business page, you can schedule posts. So you can run around on a Monday, take all your photos for the week, write up your captions, and then schedule them for the rest of the week, for the next 2 weeks, next 6 months, whatever you see fit. So for that scheduled post, you can then set times, so it can be posting at 10 o'clock at night while you're in bed or having a beer.
Nice, I like that.
And I don't like to post on the hour either. I like to post at 10, 11 or 7:14.
Why is that?
A lot of people post on the hour in business.
So more competition.
More competition, yes.
Yeah.
If you post at different times, you're reaching more people.
Clever.
We might see up to 10% increase in reach by posting at a random time.
Clever. And I think one of the big tricks in marketing is to think about your customer and think like your customer. So it's obvious that you'll think, okay, my customer is a tradie, and he might be having lunch at 11, might be on his phone then. I should post at 11:11, and then I'll get him.
Yes.
He'll see my post.
Or 3 o'clock when he knocks off work.
Yeah, but not obviously at 6 a.m. when he's just arriving on site.
Maybe 5:30 when he's sitting down to breakfast.
Yes. Okay. So you think about your target market and about their behaviour and about when they'll be on the platform, and you want to schedule your posts for that time.
So in e-commerce, selling online, we find most people buy after 9 o'clock at night. They've got kids in bed, time to buy.
Yes.
So, and people are more impulsive late at night than they are during the day. They've got other distractions, but they're just sitting there on the couch or in bed, they'll buy more.
So after 9.
After 9 o'clock.
And e-commerce, if you're trying to sell something online after 9 p.m.
Correct.
That's really cool. Okay, so should you put a call to action in these organic posts? Should you have a picture of the 4-wheel drive on the hoist and say, call us now to have your 4-wheel drive serviced? Or you're not that direct?
sometimes you should, sometimes you shouldn't. So
Yeah.
it's a balance between making your post look like a story and making your post look like advertisement.
Right.
The more advertisement it looks, the more people shut off to it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel we're bombarded with advertisement in our day-to-day lives.
We really are.
We see it on TV, radio, on our Facebook page. So if you create more story-driven posts and you start to get people to follow along, again, creating a cult of personality around the employee, people will pay more attention, they'll follow along, they'll be more interested. So they might not necessarily be interested in that product then and there, but they're following with the page and then they'll see a product they do like.
Ah, okay.
So draw them in for one thing and sell them something else.
I see. Now, can you do it too much? Can you be posting on the hour, every hour, or 10 minutes past, and it's just overwhelming, and people just go, I don't want to see anything else on this specific issue or
so
from
how,
this business.
how Facebook works where your post sits is it has a machine learning,
Yeah.
which works on 1,000 different things to decide how your post actually rates.
Yeah.
The more you post, the more likely you are to get a spam rating.
Ah.
When you start getting spam ratings or hide all posts, which are negative feedback onto the page, your score is going to drastically drop and people just won't see your content organically anymore.
Okay, so very important not to spam people, not to post too much. So it's a way better quality over quantity.
Definitely quality over quantity. A lot of people will struggle as well to put together 7 posts over a week.
Yeah.
So if they're doing 14, there's going to be posts in there that just need to be tossed out.
Yeah, okay. So really the content of those organic posts, your team, your products, is there anything else that you can mention?
Depending on the industry you're in, if you're in a service-based or trade-based industry, it's sometimes nice to put like a Friday funny type style post up.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about like taking a meme from the internet and putting that on. Don't use stock content because it's been seen before, it's been done before. Facebook wants to show the freshest content.
Okay.
So take your own shots. We did a shot recently for a local mechanic, and it was a picture of the mechanic holding a head of an engine,
Yeah.
and we photoshopped out his head. It said that the mechanic's lost his head, but he found another one. So it's a little bit of a Friday funny. We're not trying to sell anything, but it gets great engagement.
Yeah.
That we can then lead in, more people see the content because they engage with the post.
Yeah.
So then come Monday, we put up, has your car been serviced lately? When was the last time it was serviced? And question posts work really well because it gets people thinking.
Oh, so instead of telling them what to do, you're asking a question. Instead of saying, have your car serviced now, you can say, when last was your car serviced? And it has a better result, better
Is
response.
your car due for a service now?
Yeah, nice. Okay, very good. So that's the organic way. So number one thing, as a business in Rockhampton, you probably should have a Facebook page.
Definitely. If you don't have a Facebook page, come and see me.
Secondly, that Facebook page needs to be a business page, and you want to have the photo at the top, which is the banner you mentioned. You called that something else. The cover. That's right. The cover photo of your premises and your team, and then your logo in the profile picture, or a profile picture of the person selling to them.
So if you're one man
Relatable.
band, then just have a profile picture of yourself.
Okay.
So people come and see you, not the business.
Right, and then do organic posts. Post every day, don't post on the hour, and post engaging content. Make it a story. Don't make it too advertising.
And take your own content.
Take your own photos. Don't use stock photos off the internet.
No.
And yeah, just think about what your customer is doing and try and post and engage with them in things that they would find interesting.
I'm going to go on stock photos. The biggest problem I have with stock photos is the fact that most of them are taken in America.
Yeah, they look
They
American, don't they?
relate to our audience. They don't look like Australians. And
Yeah.
I had one business, they had a website and it was full of American style photos with mechanics in like overalls. You don't really see that in Australia. And there was snow in the background of one of the photos. It's
Not very
relate to
relatable. Yeah.
I'm working on a campaign at the moment for a local company here, and they wanted something to centre the area, so I went and took a photo of one of the bulls.
Ah, nice.
Because people recognise that in the region.
Yeah, that's a really good strategy as well, to put landmarks that are recognisable in our region. Put that up as posts.
Geolocation.
Geolocation. Very nice. Okay, but so you can do the organic stuff. What if you really, really, really want to get people's attention, or you want to make a phenomenal offer? Is that when you build a campaign, or when should you go and build a campaign and pay for advertising on Facebook?
You should be building a campaign around your organics, so have a marketing plan in place for that, a strategy that you follow, but you can do paid advertisement. And the great thing with a platform like Facebook is it's as cheap as $1 a day.
Yeah.
So it gives every business from the big national companies down to the little guys a chance to do some form of advertisement.
Right.
So to do that, you've got two options when you're doing paid advertisements. You can do boosting of posts to get your local posts out there a little bit more, which can be very simple and very easy to do. Someone can work it out in 10 minutes by having a look at it. Or you can build a campaign, which is a little bit more complicated. When you select a campaign option, which on your business page is the drop-down option that says create a ads manager, you go into that and it'll give you a variety of different options, starting with what's your objective. Is your objective to get people to visit your physical store, to go to your website, just to get brand awareness? Is it to sell your product directly? Is it to get engagement on a few content and posts? So you pick out what your objective is.
And those are just stated there by Facebook, so you just click on the one that most relates to what you're trying to do.
And there's a little question mark next to it, so you can look and get more information, what it means,
yeah,
which one's going to be most beneficial to you based on what you want to achieve.
Right. And then what do you do next?
So down the bottom of that, you'll have an option to do what's called split A/B testing, where you can run 2 ads side by side with differences, or you can run 10 ads side by side with differences. It's a little bit more complicated with that, but from there you go into your next page where you can actually select your audience. Now, this is the real power behind Facebook, because you can pick out your audience down to very, very detailed demographics. And it used to be a lot more powerful before the whole data privacy complaint and Senate hearings in America happened. But there's still a lot of information there that Facebook collects about you that you can pick between to target the audience more directly. So if you want to target people who are in the construction industry, who are recently engaged, who have a kid under the age of 2, you can target that.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? And I think what's also really interesting is you can tell Facebook then provides you the information of how many people are there that have those interests in our region. So it'll say, right, once you click on those things, those interests will go, there are 3,000 people who could potentially see your post.
Correct,
yeah.
Yes.
So you can really get a good handle on how many people in your target market.
So at this stage with your campaign development, you should know who you want to target.
Yeah.
You should have imagery that relates to that person you're trying to target.
Yeah.
So we ran a campaign with Valentine's coming up. We ran a campaign last year. We're running it again this year, targeting tradesmen who need to buy flowers for their wife. So rather than go through the whole process of walking into a shop, picking up the flowers, we set up a very simple click-through where we had a picture of a tradesman with flowers. People have seen that. It said something like, "Be more like Jack, buy your flowers now online and have them delivered on the day." They click on that, it takes them straight from that advert, straight to the website, put in their credit card details, buy now, and the address, and it's delivered. So you want to make it as simple as possible from the moment where they click the ad to the moment where they're purchasing.
Okay, that's a fantastic story. So let's just dissect that a bit, right? So number one, you built the ad by saying, okay, we're a flower store. We want to sell flowers on Valentine's Day. Who is the audience?
Tradesman.
Tradesman, right? So it's not the person who's going to get the flowers, it's the person who's going to purchase the flowers, therefore tradesman.
In
right?
this case, blokes.
Blokes. So then you went and you took a photo of a tradesperson holding flowers.
Yes.
So in the image, there was everything that the person who would actually do the transaction, become the customer, could relate to.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And then the wording is really clever. Be more like Jack. So you named him, made that personal. You made it not look like an ad. You made it look like a story. Be more like Jack. Buy the flowers now. And then there was only 2 clicks between clicking from that ad through to having the flowers delivered.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, once they clicked on the ad, took them to the payment options,
yeah,
put in the payment details, and then collected the data on the customer, so his address, where it's going to be delivered to.
So
we did that afterwards because once people pay, they'll commit.
Yeah.
If they've got to go through a long process of putting in information, they'll click out.
Okay.
You've got to make it as simple as possible and as fast as possible.
Okay, so from your ad, you should click through to payment, click the payment through, and then you collect the details after.
Yes.
Okay, very, very good. That's interesting. But what if you are a startup? So we're talking to small to medium enterprise as well as startups, and I explained in our very first session that a startup is a high growth company, and to be able to be a high growth company, you need two things. You need lots of customers, so essentially it's an international market because you need a global market, lots of customers. And secondly, you need a scalable business model so that it can grow really quickly, i.e. new technology. So what if you want to use Facebook to reach an international market? Do you go through the same process? Or
same process.
is it easy enough to click Rockhampton versus the whole world? Like,
very easy.
Yeah, it's just different clicks.
Yeah, different clicks. So you probably want to target it out to different regions. So design different ads for America as you would to New Zealand to Australia.
So again, you're keeping your customer in mind.
Keeping your customer in mind. And if you're based here in Rockhampton, you're trying to sell to America, it's very hard to jump on a plane and fly out to America and get that organic shot. Crowdsource it from your customer. Say, hey Frank, you just bought this product off me. I'd love to see a picture of it in use. Frank sends back the picture of the product and say, hey mate, can I use this on our adverts? Well, often not, they'll say yes. So you put it up on your page. So you can crowdsource your content from your market overseas.
Very nice. And you could crowdsource your content from your local market as well.
Yes, definitely.
So regardless of where your customers are, get them to send photos of them using the product, and then that's your content for your organic or paid campaigns.
And you're telling a story because you can say, Susan bought this product, she loves wearing these shirts.
Yes, fabulous. Okay, that's really, really cool. So what if we wanted to use... Okay, so before we go to using different platforms, let's just quickly talk about the analytics and about testing and measuring. Now, from what I do, I know that one of the fundamental problems that we have with marketing and working with business owners and marketing is that we don't test and measure. So ultimately, in my experience, marketing is very much like almost everything in life. Not everything you'll do will work. Some things work and some things don't. And so I always suggest that you do, a few different marketing campaigns and then test and measure exactly where your customers are coming from so that you know which ones are working and you can invest more money in the ones that are working. So let's say you have a range of marketing. Let's say you have everything from newspaper advertising to all the way through to Facebook. What you want to do is you want to ensure that every customer that comes through, you ask them, where did you find us, or how did you come to us, or just try and get that information from them. And then the very easiest way to do that is either paper-based, or if you want to use technology, just use a spreadsheet and make a little mark, right? Do you suggest anything else?
Yeah, definitely. If they're coming through on online only, make sure you have how did you hear about us?
Yes.
I see it all the time on booking websites. If they come in the store, oh mate, how did you hear about us?
Yeah.
Where did you find out about us from? Start to measure where you're getting your clicks from and your results from. Because that's where you should be spending more of your time, more of your effort, more of your money.
Absolutely.
Everything you do in marketing, you should get a return from. If you're not getting a return from it, the plan needs to be adjusted. You need to revisit it. I often describe digital marketing as you're starting at the stream at the top of the mountain, you're trying to get to the ocean. As snakes, it forks off, and you choose different paths before you get to your end goal.
Yeah.
You're going to have to change your strategy as you go.
But you can't do that just on a whim, or you shouldn't do that just on a whim. You should really be collecting the data, the feedback, i.e. just asking your customers, where did you hear about us? Making a note so that you can look at some form of report at the end of every month or week or 6 months or however.
When I visit my clients to actually do the work with them, I think the number one question I say is, how's business this week?
Yeah.
Have you seen uptake? How's your figures looking? What's your sales doing? Have they been mentioning this marketing campaign we did? So that we can see what they're responding to and what they're not responding to.
So that analogy of the stream, and there are little different streams that you can go through, and then you look at the report, you look at the data, and then you make the decision based on the feedback and not based on the ad that you really like because you really like the kitten in the ad.
Yeah, normally after a couple of weeks with working with a client, we get down to the river.
Yeah.
At that point, we're just flying. We're heading in the right direction. It's just getting it down from the mountain to begin with, using that analogy.
Okay.
The big thing is that more often than not, the customer doesn't know where, the client doesn't know where the customer's coming from until they actually start to think about it. And the most common one we get is word of mouth. They're being referred to there by a friend. The social media tends to be an extension of that. I know myself, if I'm looking for a service, the first thing I do is jump online and say, hey, does anyone know a mower man? Does anyone know someone to come service my pool? I start at that level, and get the referrals from their friends.
To ask for recommendations
Definitely,
again through Facebook or through some of the other social media platforms.
With the Facebook and the analysis that you get, the analytics you get out of it, you can see a lot of data. So e-commerce side, you can see, right, you got 6 clicks from a $10 spend and they spent $600. You can see exactly what your results are. From the campaigns you run, you can see how many people clicked on it, how many people seen it, how many times they've seen it. It gives you a lot of information, so you've got real-time results. Why it's hard to get that sort of information from traditional media, just because they don't have the capability to measure in real time the data.
I understand, really understand. So if you want to really grow your business and set up for long-term success, you have to build marketing systems. And so testing and measuring and finding the right images with the right words that lead through to the right page on your website, that leads through to the right click-through rate. If you can set that up consistently, and you know that if you spend $1 in an ad, someone's going to spend $100 with you as a customer, and their lifetime value might be $1,000. You want to set, well, of course, we want to be optimistic. What you want to do is you want to ensure that you set those systems up and that they run consistently. So it's not just working on campaigns all the time. It's not just trying different things. It's really honing in on the things that are working and then setting them up as systems to run consistently behind the scenes. And technology is amazing for that, right?
Yes.
And then you want to continue to test and measure, and when it stops working, you go back and you tweak. But while it's working, you're working on other campaigns to get them to set up a system so that you essentially have multiple marketing systems running and delivering customers into your business every single day.
So a normal marketing campaign, you should see results within 3 months. So when we work with a business, 3 months is normally at the top of the line to have really good turnover and see business growth. But we've also seen that within a week.
So in my experience, just in terms of an ad, you can tell within 24 hours if that ad's working. The feedback's pretty instant, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
If it's not a good ad, no one's going to respond to that ad, and giving it more time is not going to help.
Yeah. One of the important things is that a campaign isn't just one ad, though.
No,
a campaign as a whole is a series of ads. You almost want to build up to it. So if you're trying to sell a product, start with the person selling the product and tell a story to get to that point where they're purchasing the product.
Got it. Okay, very good. Now, let's talk more about some of the other platforms. So that was Facebook, and obviously Facebook's very relevant to our region in Rocky. But what about Snapchat? Do you work with Snapchat? Who's on Snapchat? Is that something we should engage in? Because when you're a bit older, probably you haven't even downloaded the app, or you don't have Snapchat. So kids don't want you to be on Snapchat.
Snapchat's the platform most digital marketers are looking at the moment. They're watching to see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
It's the exciting new kid on the block.
Nice.
It's fast growing with the younger audience, so your 13 to 17-year-olds are very heavily on Snapchat, but they're going to be the buyers in 5 years' time. They're going to be the people that you're going to be selling your product to if your current market is 18 to 25. So we're starting to develop in that space for the future audiences.
Perfect. Excellent. Instagram?
Instagram is exciting. There's a lot happening in that space. It's tied into Facebook as well, so when you do paid advertisements on Facebook, they actually come across onto Instagram. One of the best things I like about Instagram is the stories, which has now come across onto Facebook. So stories are posts that's up for 24 hours that people can click and scroll through. It can be very useful to tell short stories of what's actually happening in your business. So you can do a couple of stories a day, building this, working on this, doing this, and then you can do your main post, which is towards most of your audience.
Excellent.
But Instagram has the option to hashtag. So it's great to hashtag on Instagram because it can tag you to different products. I like to use the hashtag Rockhampton or hashtag Yeppoon, depending on the area that I'm working in. So it can be a very useful platform.
So just to explain hashtags, am I right in saying that a hashtag is something that people can subscribe to or search on, and then they'll get all of the posts that have used that same hashtag? So if you do a post of swimming in the ocean and you hashtag Yeppoon, and I do a similar post, then if people search for the hashtag you're putting, then they'll find the swimming in the ocean, your post and my post, even though we have nothing to do with each other and don't know each other, and just randomly post it. Same with Rocky. If we hashtag Rockhampton and you're at the zoo and I'm up Mount Archer, then people searching on the hashtag Rockhampton will see those different posts,
That's
right?
correct, yes.
Yeah. So you can literally see, if you do hashtag something neutral like 4x4, then you'll see posts from all around the world of people who've used that hashtag.
Yes, so that's how hashtags work exactly. But I say not to use hashtags on Facebook.
Why is that?
So there was a study done a couple of years ago, the 1 billion report, which was a study of 1 billion social media reports, posts. They found that posts with hashtags on Facebook get 33% lower engagement.
33%.
33%, 32%.
Wow, that's incredible. So do not hashtag on Facebook.
Don't hashtag.
And hashtag on Instagram.
So Facebook has its system to tag things and products or people in it. It's the @ symbol.
Ah, okay. So use the @ for Facebook and the hashtag, which is this symbol here on Instagram. Very good. Right. So what about YouTube?
YouTube's the exciting one. So most people don't think of YouTube as a social media platform.
Yeah.
But it's the second biggest social media platform in the world after Facebook. So it's one of my favourites. So we tend to find that a lot of people will not watch a video more than 30 seconds or a minute on Facebook, or on Instagram you're limited to a minute unless you're using Instagram TV, which is a new option. Kind of trying to be a little bit like YouTube.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a lot of information on it yet, so I don't know what the take up on Instagram TV is, but with YouTube, you can put a video up there for 20 minutes, 10-minute video, and people will more likely watch it to the end if it's engaging. But with that, you have a comment section, you can do a review on a product. So YouTube can be a very interesting platform if you have the digital capabilities and skills to operate cameras and actually produce the video content. But we've seen a rise of YouTube stars.
Yeah, and Instagram famous people, influencers.
Yes. So it can be useful to use influencers to actually sell your product if you pick and choose the right ones.
So we'll get back to influencers in a moment. I'm sure there are people who want to know how to become famous on Instagram, but also then how to use influencers to sell their product, and that all relates back to the audience. But let's just finish our conversation about YouTube. So I think YouTube is phenomenal for content marketing. So content marketing is putting up useful content about the products or services that you have. And again, it's not directly trying to sell your product, but it's through talking about the features, the advantages, the benefits, unboxing stuff or reviewing things. People find that very interesting. And when they can see the story behind the product, that will make them more likely to engage with you as an actual customer. And I know that a lot of people, including myself, will YouTube something to find out how something works or where the best thing is or what to buy or who to buy it from.
Yeah, there's the joke that you can learn anything from YouTube, but there's things you shouldn't learn on it.
That is so true. So true. So again, what's the process of setting up a business page on YouTube? Is that difficult? Should people be concerned about that? And can they just use their smartphones to take a video?
Definitely use their smartphones to take videos. Keep in mind to keep it landscape and not portrait.
I guess a landscape, and which way, and with...
Portrait, landscape.
Yes, so why should it be landscape? That's for all videos, really.
Well, with Instagram, portrait is the way to go.
Okay, Instagram portrait.
That's sort of one exception.
Facebook is landscape. YouTube is landscape.
The reason being is if you shoot a video in portrait and they're viewing it on a tablet or a desktop, you get the black lines inside the picture.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which just looks terrible. But if you filmed it in landscape and they're watching it on a phone, well, it shows it full screen and they can turn it on the side and go full screen as well. So it's just more options and looks more professional too.
Okay. But that distinction is really important. Instagram, portrait, because if you landscape on Instagram, you have to fix your video and it doesn't work at all, and you have blurred things at the top and bottom. Yeah. Okay, so YouTube is for content marketing. Easy to set up a YouTube page.
Very simple. You just jump on, it's a Google account.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Just have a go. Just have a go. Just open your laptop and have a go. You can always delete stuff if it doesn't work. Just have a go.
I was working with a friend lately who's actually set up a YouTube channel. So going back about a year or two. Started with 2 subscribers, 5, 10. Eventually, he's got to 1,000, and once you hit 1,000 subscribers, it tends to start steamrolling. it'll build very organically, very fast, because people are sharing it as long as the content is engaging.
Yeah. So again, think about your customers, about what they want, what they like, what will be interesting for them, and create content that they'll enjoy watching. Yeah. Okay, so YouTube's good. What have we missed? I think we've covered all the obvious channels. So let's quickly go back to Instagram influencers. How can we use or utilize influencers in our businesses to get more customers?
There's a few different ways to use influencers. So you can approach one and say, hey, I'll give you this much money.
And with approach, you can just literally DM them, so direct message them through Instagram.
So it's actually amazing with Instagram how you can connect to like famous people or powerful people really easily through the DM.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest platform to actually reach someone on. Unless you like track down the personal email address.
Which is very difficult to do.
But if you're committed, you can do it. Just got a little bit of looking around.
It sounds like you know how to do that. We might have to do a different Facebook Live just for that information.
So yeah, you pick an influencer, exchange of money for plugging your product. Hashtag for this product. So you get your customers to essentially plug your own product at no cost to you.
Nice.
Which works quite effectively. But you've got to watch when you're picking an influencer that they just don't have a whole heap of fake likes. So it's quite easy. I can jump on right now and buy 50,000 likes for my Instagram page for $10, $20. But they're not real people, they're just bots. So you're going to want to look at your influencer.
So how do you know whether it's a bot like or a real like?
The easiest way is have a look at their posts. If they've got 50,000 Instagram followers, but they're only getting 2 likes on their posts, then most of their followers are bots. That's the easiest and fastest way to tell.
Okay, got it. Very interesting. And so again, you pick the influencer based on whether the audience that is following that influencer is the same, is engaged, and real people, not chatbots, or any other bots, just bots. But also, it's the audience that you're trying to talk to. That's interesting, right? Okay, so I think we need to wrap it up. So Liam, tell me, it's a very, very short story about when did you get in business and how long have you been part of the Smart Hub?
So I've been in business for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
This company was started back in 2012.
Yeah.
So we're about 6 years old so now. And hydro.
Sorry, no idea.
I got into business, at the time I was working as a tradie, and it was an apprentice, wasn't making very much money. I had the camera there, so I started producing content for social media.
Nice.
I actually walked into a nightclub
and
convinced a nightclub manager who'd been in business for 30 years that the way he was doing his photos was wrong, my way was the right way. So I used to go into a nightclub, for the older people, they'll remember this, and a guy would take your photo, give you a card, and you buy the photos from him. I turned around and sold the content of the photos back to the nightclub. Put on their social media to attract interest and draw engagement to their page. It sort of built from there and grew over many years until a fair few years ago now, I had a friend come to me and say, hey, I'm starting a business, can you help me with the marketing because I see what you're doing works. And he took off, became very, very successful, and sort of everyone's just spoken, referred me on, and my business has grown very naturally, very organically that way.
cool.
So I'm very passionate about how we actually do marketing, storytelling, and organic approach, coming from a content creation background.
Cool.
And work with a variety of businesses, both local and international.
Very good. So tell us about your Smart Hub membership.
Yes, so joined the Smart Hub. I was looking for space to house one of my offices, content creation office. It's very good to get them away from the administration people, because creative mindsets and numbers don't go very well. So it was a great space, very affordable, a great community though that could be around. So there's a lot of people you could rely on, ask questions, and sometimes, you know, in business you do get a bit stressed out. So it's nice just to be able to talk to another person in business who's been through the same thing and, you know, have a conversation.
Yeah, our community is, I think, what's amazing, and also our education. I think that's what really sets us apart. You know, learning every day, because when you're in business you have to keep learning. I think that's one of the major skills. And secondly, just having great people around to collaborate. And the culture is really fun, isn't it? We have a great culture. What would you say about what it's like? What does it feel like to be part of the Smart Hub?
Some days it feels like you're just in a big boardroom with people talking and voicing ideas, and other times it's like really exciting. And I love hearing how other people are going into business and what they're up to and different approaches and ideas, and there's always someone to bounce back off. It's a very fun, very sort of friendly sort of environment.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of collaboration. I know that you collaborate with a fair few of the members.
Well, they've referred a fair few people into the Smart Hub.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, that's awesome. So, finally, obviously Liam is exceptionally experienced in using Facebook especially, and you've been approached by state government, federal government to run some workshops, and you'll be running some right here from the Smart Hub. So tell us about when that's happening and how people can register for those workshops.
Yeah, so I was selected to be the Australian Small Business Advisory Service advisor for this region, and to the Western regions as well, which is part of Business Station running out of Perth and RDA out of Brisbane. And we're running a variety of workshops to help upskill businesses with their digital skills. The first one in Rockhampton here is on the 28th of February.
And what's the content? What's the topic?
That's the Facebook for your business. So it's an introductory workshop to get you all the skills, a lot of the things I talked about today, how to actually do that social marketing for your business on Facebook. And
I did attend some of your previous workshops, and you actually gave us like workbooks. Will you be doing workbooks again this time?
There will be some sort of work booklet. The biggest problem with social media is that it does update very fast.
Yeah.
So it's trying to keep that information fresh, and those work booklets I have found do get outdated very fast.
Yeah.
So I worked with the ASBAS, Australian Small Business Advisory Service, for the previous 3 years of the contract, which was with another group.
Yeah.
And in those 3 years, I think I updated that booklet 12 times.
Wow. Okay, so fast changing.
Yes. So I'm trying to work out a system now where maybe I digitalize that booklet so I can update the information on the roll.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah. But again, the fact that it's changing quickly doesn't mean you shouldn't have a go, or that you can't, use what you learned before. It's not like it's an overall. It's like incremental little changes.
So you're joining a point of Facebook, and then it's easy to follow along.
Yeah.
So once you get the basic skills, it's very easy to keep up.
Yeah. Liam Fahey, it was excellent chatting to you today. Thank you very much for sharing all your knowledge on how to use technology to get more customers, or to quote you, to get more customers to part with their money. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, just if you want to grow your business, if you're a bit stagnant at the moment and want to have the problem of not having enough staff to meet the demand, come see me.
Thank you very much. We'll see you on Facebook Live, HubLive, next Thursday at 1 o'clock to talk more about marketing.